What's up, traders? It's Matt with Conservative Trades. What a day. What a day. Now, for those of you who were in the live stream this morning, you may be surprised to see my P&L up $143.14. As you can see, I found some trades that started working in my favor. And for those of you who weren't in the live stream, I basically had ended the live stream today while I was down, I don't know, I think almost $400. It's crazy because so yesterday when we ended the live stream, I was up 400 and some dollars, and then when I did the recap, I was basically at a break-even day. And then today I was down almost $400. And we come back and we're doing the recap, and I obviously recouped those losses on some trades and was able to end in the green. Now, I did trade a lot. I do have a pretty good commission structure, but probably after fees and commissions, I'm probably hitting right around $50 on the day. So it's not really anything to brag about, but man, I'm glad I was able to fight my way back and into the black. That's what it's about sometimes, guys. The markets can chew you up and spit you out, but if you've got a good strategy and if you see some opportunities to trade later in the day, and if it's fitting for your strategy, and if the probabilities of digging yourself out of that hole are pretty good, then, why not take a shot? Try to capitalize on it. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's what makes a good trader. Now, I'm not the best trader out there, and obviously I got my butt kicked several times this morning. I probably should have just stopped when I could see that that the market was choppy, because really a good trader would have stopped. There was a point where I was down maybe, I don't know, 150, 200 bucks, and I should have just stopped. I should have stopped and waited to come back later in the day when we saw this change in direction. And as a matter of fact, I had mentioned in the live stream that I was pretty much going to be done. I did take one final trade, actually. Yeah, I'll show you this first. When we were in the live stream today, I did kind of notice this breaking down through here. I'll show you the executions. Here we go. And I did decide to just jump in with another 100 shares, I think right here. And I said, you know what, I'll set a stop at the $29 mark. And it never popped up. It came all the way down. And then when it broke VWAP, I ended up actually adding to my position. And it came down, and I got off some here, and then it came down here. And I think I tried to add again, and when it came back, I just got out here and then got out the rest here. So, but you can see I ended up making about $135 on that trade. So that was good. But bringing the SPY back down here. So when we got out, when I left today, I said, if I see the S&P 500 starting to break down and making some moves to the downside, then I might look for some opportunity. And of course, when you see the S&P 500 breaking down like this, and this is kind of where it started happening, maybe around 12 o'clock, 12:30, it was making confirmation below the VWAP and below these moving averages. And when you see something like this, and here's on the daily chart, I knew, yesterday I was thinking that we were going to come back and retest that 300 area, that 302 to 300 area, but we ended up pushing up further yesterday. Today is finally the day where we were able to come down and actually start testing that. So when I saw that happening, guys, I just took some scalping opportunities on good old TVIX. So you can see, look, it's... Again, I always tell you guys, it looks like Christmas lights here, like all these little Christmas ornaments hung all over the place. But this is pretty much where I started taking position. And I was actually longing most of these. So you can see I took a position here. It came down. I got in more shares. And mind you, I was only taking like, I don't know, 20, 40, 50 share lots at a time. So not much at all. The TVIX can make some pretty big moves pretty quickly. But I was confident on the trade. And of course, it popped up and I started piecing out here. And, same thing here. Started buying all the way down, and then it popped up and started selling all the way up. And of course, by the time you're all the way down here, you've brought your average down to here. So all this here is pretty much profit. Obviously the first couple licks on it are going to be a little loss from these first two ones, but then everything down here, as you're taking profit up top, just turns into pure profit. And you guys can see here that pretty much from all of that scalping, I was able to scalp my way up over $400 and dig myself out of the hole on the day. So it's one of those things, guys, where, we've talked about it many times. Again, a good trader can dig himself out of the hole. A good trader is not necessarily somebody who is just constantly making all the right moves. We do the best we can with what we've got. with the information that we have available to us, and by looking at clear areas of support, resistance, and monitoring, various technical indicators, and of course, even sometimes monitoring the S&P 500. I mean, we have data, and we take this data and we form what we consider to be the best trade ideas, where a stock could move in our direction, or have the greatest probability of moving in our direction, and we take a shot, and sometimes it works for you, sometimes it works against you. But if you're good at what you do, and if you have a good, solid understanding of the market, if you really take time to educate yourself and then discipline yourself, because education's one thing, but then you have to have the discipline to sit on the trade. When you actually get in the trade, you have to have the discipline to stay there with it and let it work itself out. And as I often tell you guys, having a conservative trading strategy, taking small share size at a time, will enable you to do that. Here on the TVIX, if I had jumped in like 100 shares here, I mean, this dropped from 136.62 all the way down to 134.26. I mean, I would have been down over $200, and forget adding in. I would have had to sit on my hands. There's no way I would have continue added in. If I had added in and all of these were 100 share lots, there probably would have been at one point where I'd be down, $500. And that kind of stuff can make you nervous, especially if you're a beginner trader and you're just starting out and you're trying to build your account. That can make you nervous. And then you'll end up selling it thinking, oh man, this is going to break down. This is going to break down. And then all of a sudden, look, it pops up. It pops up and it works out the way that you thought it would. Okay. And so by taking just, 25, 50 shares here and there and letting it work itself out, in my mind, there's really no better way to trade. If you're a beginner trader and you're starting out, and it takes time. It takes time to learn how to be disciplined. I mean, having the information and getting educated and everything, that's one thing, and that's something that definitely needs to be done. But then once you actually start putting skin in the game, there's just a discipline that comes to that. You've got to work those muscles, those mental muscles, those emotional muscles that help give you greater emotional control when you're actually in a trade. Okay, and the best way to do that is by taking conservative share size, in my opinion. So again, I always feel like I have to tell you guys, I mean, I'm not a professional financial advisor. Trading is considered high risk, and if you trade at your own risk. But in my opinion, this is how you form a solid strategy, and this is how you're able to get out and have days like this, even though you're down, $300-400 at one point. By exercising a good conservative trading strategy and having the discipline to stay in those trades, you can pull yourself out. And this happens to me more times than not, more times than ending in the red. I will start in the red and dig myself out. There was even a day last week or the week before, I was literally down like $600, and I ended the day up $550 or something like that. The video's on the channel. You can browse through the videos. I'm sure you'll find it. But my point being, there's a lot of days where the market might look like it's going to kick your butt, but you can take it back. And this is one of those days. And so anyway, I will say this real quick before I get out. INO was the one that really just manhandled me today. INO was like my Tesla from yesterday. And obviously you can see Tesla too, both of them, poked the bears. Both of these were bears that I poked and I tried, but they came back against me. And, so I took a little bit of loss on them. And honestly, and here's the other great thing about taking conservative share size. So INO, you see how many times I traded it. And I'm only down $154.25. I mean, imagine if I was taking 1,000 share lots during all this time. Imagine how much more I could be down on this. I could be down $400 or $500 alone on INO, maybe even more. Okay, but I was able to take a lot of stabs at it, and I was up at some points with it, and then I'd be down, and then I'd be up, and then, But here's the thing: when you trade with conservative share size, it also allows you to get a feel for what that feels like to constantly get chopped out of the market, and you still won't have to lose much. I mean, it's one thing to take a $150 lesson. It's another thing to pay, for a $500 or $600 lesson. And when you take conservative share size, you reduce your risk, you reduce your losses. And then again, when you do start finding trades on the day that are working in your favor, you can dig yourself out of that. You can always come back from a $150 loss, or even a $300 or $400 loss. You can always come back from that. But if you're trading with big share sizes on all this stuff, if INO ended up being like a $500 loss and Tesla ended up being like a $500, if I'm down $1,000 on a day, that's hard to recover from. But trading with a conservative share size will enable you to make all the mistakes that you need to make on a stock before you finally figure out, you know what, I need to get out of here. And then, and then it allows you to come back later on other stocks and dig yourself out. So anyway, guys, that's the video for the day. Had a great time with all you guys in the live stream this morning. Hope to see you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last trading day of the week. It's Friday. Hopefully we can finally come in and make some serious moves tomorrow. But anyway, we'll be firing up the live stream around 9 a.m. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.